Welcome to this short session on Agentic AI. This is on introduction to Agentic AI. So I'm trying to help you in understanding what exactly is Agentic AI, why everyone is talking about Agentic AI these days, and what are the things we can do using Agentic AI. So this is one introductory chapter that is part of my Udemy course that is yet to be published. So in this chapter we are going to understand like why agentic AI, how it is differing from generative AI, and what are the things we can do using agentic AI. So let us start with the first one, that is generative AI. Why generative AI versus agentic AI? So why we are saying that generative AI is basically definitely a good thing, but then how agentic AI is better, and what are the things we can do using agentic AI that we cannot do using uh, uh, generative AI. So that we are going to understand. So as you can see on the screen, like because Gen AI's job ends the moment it generates text. This is very important, and that's why we understand. So when we are using generative AI, so it is just to generate some sort of text, code, images, or videos that we see. So there's no goal. The goal is very simple. If you ask to generate one image, it will generate the image. So this is basically, like responding to a single prompt. So you are writing a prompt. If you are good in writing a prompt, so you can get the result. And if you are not good in writing the prompt, then the result may not be good also. So step by step you have to guide the tool, so that means you are getting the result that you want. And there are some restrictions and constraints also, like usually it requires like user guidance for each step. The memory is limited, and it is based on tool. Now it can do wonderful things. I don't say that it is worthless or it's not helping us. That is not the fact. So it is doing wonderful things, but always remember, when we are talking about generative AI, so it has no ownership. So AI job ends as soon as it generates certain things, whatever you want. Like it can be a text, it can be image. You can ask the generative AI to generate one email. uh, you can even generate a complete book using generative AI, all the presentations and so many things that you can do using generative AI. But then, whether you are satisfied, whether your task is done or not, generative AI has nothing to do with that. So it will not take the responsibility. So that is very important here. So no execution, generation and inaction. That is very important. Like you are requesting for certain things and you are getting the result, whether the result is correct or not, whether the result is useful or not, whether the result is uh, suitable for you or not, or for the context or not, hardly matters. And it has nothing to do with that. So after generation, it becomes inactive, and you have to ask it to do the things. But then, as the memory is also a challenge, so that's why generative AI cannot, like do anything beyond that. So it is human responsibility for getting the things done or getting certain things that the human will have to intervene. So there is no loop, there is no goal specified. So that's how the things are there. So who decides the next step? Human decides the next step. So you are asking for certain things, and human will have to request for the next prompt, request for the next thing, and then only you'll be getting the information there. Otherwise, it is not there. Nothing is there. So there is a chance of failure. Sometimes what happens, like it is generating nonsense things that you don't want, and you have to instruct that no, I don't want this much. For example, you ask a simple query, and then it generates pages of information. For example, let us check this thing. So I'm just starting a chat GPT prompt, and I'm just asking for what is gen- generative AI. This is a question that I am asking. Now, I'm expecting that it will be giving me a few lines of answer, but then for this one also it has generated, like lots of things there. You can see two responses have been generated, and it is asking me for selection of one response. And then you can see it's a huge response. I didn't want this much. So in fact, I just wanted this type of definition. I was not expecting this much because I have not asked for that. So I have just asked what is generative AI, and it is giving me so much information. So these are the challenges. And if I want to instruct, I can edit and then I can make the changes there. There is no question of recovery, resilience, and all those things. So that's how generative AI is good, no doubt, but then it has some restrictions, it has some constraints, and it cannot go beyond certain limitations. Whereas what we expect, that if suppose we have some tasks to do, so my AI should help me in completing the task. So now I am moving one step ahead. So from questions to goals, that is my requirement. I am now hoping for some task completion. So my task should be completed. I should be goal oriented. So that is my requirement. So from questions to goal, that's what I want. So I need to have something like this. Like my AI should plan, my AI should act, and whatever my AI has done, so it should check also, and then it should adapt also. So it is complete goals by planning and execution, and with multiple steps. And I have set the goal once, and I am not coming back with different types of goal. For example, like suppose you want to travel to some for like for your vacation, you want to travel. Now, what happens in this case? Like your agent should be able to plan everything for you. So you have set the goal, like I have the vacation starting from this date to that date, and then I have this budget constraint, and my destination can be anywhere based on certain things that is there in my mind. So these are the things that I want to see. So I have given the goal. Now my agent should not ask me every time. It should find out whether it is possible in that particular budget or not. It should ask me like whether I can increase the budget or not. It should ask me like the budget is sufficient. So can I plan some more days? Can you extend your duration and all? So it is, like based on autonomous things with minimal supervision. And all these things it is doing in a planned way. So this is what we see here. Like you can have, like plan, then you can have act, check, and so on. So that is the reason agentic AI comes into picture, which is basically based on digital ownership. So it can basically take the complete digital ownership. So it can use some memories, it can do some planning, it can even think on the basis of some sort of feedback, it can work in loop. So all these things it can do. So generative AI is, if it is for creating content, agentic AI is basically for achieving goal. And agentic AI can do the task till the time this goal is not achieved. So, as we know, Gen AI responds, agentic AI takes responsibility. This is very important. So, Gen AI responds on your query, and once it has responded, the task is over, and it has nothing to do with that particular task until unless you are not asking to do the things. So that's what is very important here, that we need to understand. So generative AI is responding, as we have seen. This has responded, but then agentic AI is moving one more step ahead, and then it takes responsibility to achieve the goal, and this is very important. The next example will be like chatbot things, but if a human being is there, so human being will work on that part. So chatbot will not be responsible. And what we want to do now, like we want the AI to take responsibility. This is very important. So it is, like it should not only answer the things, it should also take responsibility till the time the goal is achieved. And this is very important here. So from prompts to objective, so you should have the goal, you should have the context and the success criteria that you define, and your AI should work on that perspective, and it should go beyond what generative AI can do. So we can have a proper breakdown planning, like we can have this way, like we are planning, there is a sequence, some dependencies. So it will be collecting data, analyzing, drafting, reviewing, and then submit. So it's a proper, like a human being is doing, that type of things it will do. So it will work like a human being. For example, it can use emails, so it can respond to your email as well. It can calculate certain things, it can create some dashboard on the basis of the requirement. So dashboard, generative AI can also create, but then this is based on some goals that has been set. So accordingly, it will create that. It can it can invoke some APIs as per the requirement. So it can trigger the workflows. It can decide what to do next and how we can do that. And not only that, it can also escalate. Like if suppose something is not happening on time, so it can escalate also. It can help you in making your task easy. It can retry, it can escalate, it can learn and improve, it can adjust strategy, it can trigger workflow. So just like a human being can do all these things. So same similar way, my agent should also work. So generative AI cannot do this thing. It cannot remove bottlenecks. It cannot take some decisions. Those things are not part of generative AI. It is just answering your queries. That's the difference that we need to understand. So it is scaling decisions, and it is not just automation. So discussion confusion should not be there in minds like automations are happening, were happening earlier also. Now what is the difference? So this is the automation that is happening with a goal in mind. So this is not simple automation where 2 plus 2 is always 4. So if suppose we are getting some other numbers, then also my system should work. It should not be working on any fixed type of things. So it is based on like the situation that is always on, is always monitoring what is happening there without any human bottleneck. So it's automation at a deeper level. So it can decide, it can act, and then it is achieving the outcome. And not only that, it owns the outcome. Like if some decision has been made. For example, suppose you are having a travel and tour company where you are deploying this agent. So the agent will get all these details from you and then plan your tour as I told you earlier also. And if suppose there is in any problem, so it will own the outcome and then it will help in fixing that. So that is also important. So AI that fixes automatically, detect, diagnose, and fix, and that all happens automatically. So that's how the things are changing drastically. Agentic AI is helping in doing all these things. So it is helping in designing, building, and deploying. And basically, it is from prompting to architecting intelligence. So this is agentic AI. There are different things those can be possible using agentic AI. There are lots of different tools which we can use. So all those things I'll discuss in some other session. So thank you very much for going through this video. If you have any questions and queries, please drop your questions and queries in the chat window, and I would like to answer those questions and queries.